We've had this mat for about 3 years now, 2 or 3 years. We've left it outside in all weather, and I mean all weather. We pump it up in the springtime, so sometimes it gets really cold and it's even snowed on it. And we leave it pumped up through the entire summer out in our backyard. We just move it off the lawn. It gets sprinklered on, it gets sun on it. This thing has been so robust and so amazing. The material is really, really thick polyurethane plastic. And all of the seams seem to have held up really, really well. I mean, we've bounced on this thing on top of grass. We've put it on concrete. I'm not saying I would recommend using it the way that we've used it, but we just haven't cared too much. It's the price is a point where we'd love to just like use it where we want to use it and how we want to use it, and then replace it if need to. But we haven't needed to replace it at all. We've also used it in water. We've used it as a slip and slide, so the kids will put a hose on it, pump it up, put a hose on it, and then slide around on it. It's been incredible, and it's been a staple in our backyard for fun. All right, so there's a couple of things about this mat. So once you get it from the factory and take it out and blow it up and use it, it's really difficult to get it rolled up small enough to get it back in this provided bag with the pump inside the bag with it. Now the pump is a really cool small pump. It plugs into the wall, and then it has this stretchy tube. You just put the tube in there. I'm going to show you how to hook all of this up in just a second, but it's pretty small, compact. It only uses AC power, not DC, so you can't really use it on the go unless you have a AC to DC power converter. But all in all, it's a pretty good little pump. It comes with a couple of nozzle attachments as well. So these nozzle attachments, man, that's hard to take off. There we go. So it comes with a couple of these nozzle attachments as well. And then this attachment goes right into the mat. I'll show you how that works. Okay, so a couple things to note. When you get your mat, you will get a couple of attachments for the pump. So this is the attachment that you're going to use to pump up the mat. It also comes with this nozzle so that you could use it to pump up inner tubes or pools or things like that. We used it just the other day to pump up a backyard swimming pool. You'll also get this kit, which is a patching kit. So this stuff is material that you can patch any holes with, and an extra cap for the place you pump up. All right, I'm going to set this one aside so it's not confusing. Once again, you're not going to use this nozzle to pump up the mat at all. So when you're going to pump up the mat, what you want to do is you want to take off the cap like that. Typically our string has broke, but the string would be attached to the cap so that you won't lose it. I'm going to push this in just a little bit here. And then what you want to make sure is that this button right here is all the way out, because when it's pushed in, that's to deflate the mat. So it's just a push and a twist. So to bring it out, you want to push in and twist, and it comes all the way out. The reason for that is that it will let air in, but it won't let air out. So then what we want to do is we want to attach this piece to the pump like so. Has this rubber gasket so it keeps it tight and airtight. And then we push it in and twist. Then the pump is completely connected to the mat, right? So you can't pull it out, and it has this air seal right here. So now I'm going to pump this up and time it, and let you know exactly how long it takes for this mat to inflate. So I'm going to set a timer so I can tell you exactly how long it takes to set up and be having fun and bouncing on this gymnastics mat. Here we go. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how to deflate this thing. I'm gonna show you a little trick with the pump that probably most people don't know, that's gonna cut the time in half to deflate this thing and put it away by a significant amount. So what most people don't understand about putting this mat away is with the pump is actually reversible. So you can take the nozzle off the front of the pump, which is where the air comes out to pump up the mat. You can turn it around and put the hose on the back side of the pump, which is actually where it sucks air in to push through to pump it up. So what it's gonna do is when we turn this on, it's actually gonna suck air out of the mat. So we're gonna remove the cap. Again, this is our pressure, or our pin that holds the air in, lets air in, but won't let air out. So we're gonna push and twist on it so air starts coming out of the mat. And it'll deflate to a certain point, but then after there's no more pressure or little pressure, it's not gonna deflate very fast. So the trick is we're going to put this backwards hose in it and we're gonna turn it on and it's gonna suck all the air out of this mat really, really fast rather than us having to lay on it and crawl on it. All right, so here we go. We've got the pump reversed. We're just gonna kick it on and you'll see how fast it sucks the air out of the mat. All right, so once we're done sucking air, all the air out of the mat, we want to get the cap back on as quickly as possible so not much air can get back into the mat. The reason being is we want it to be nice and flat with no air in it when we roll it up, and you'll see why. It's really difficult to get the mat back in the bag without getting all of the air out. So now we're going to roll the mat up and show you how tightly you have to roll it in order to get it back in the bag. So in order to get this mat back in the bag, we have to first fold it over and then we have to roll it. We have to roll it really, really tight if you want to get the mat and the pump back in the bag together to store it away. I will tell you, I don't take the time usually to get this thing tight enough to get the pump and the mat back in the bag because it's a lot of work. I rather just get the mat back in the bag to protect it and I store the pump alongside of it, but I'll show you exactly how I do that. I start rolling at the opposite end from where I inflate it. The beginning is really the most important. You want to make sure it gets really, really tight. Once I'm finished rolling, I leave it rolled up on the ground like this. I don't try to pick it up or anything like that. This is a little trick to get it put away a little bit neater. I grab the bag and I put the bag over it while it's still on the ground like this, and then flip it over. Now, as you can see, there's not a ton of room left over inside the bag for the pump. I could probably get it in there, but it's gonna be a real struggle. So I just make sure the mat's in there. All my accessories, my patch kit, and my pump nozzle pieces, I get those in the bag, zip it up, and then I just store it along with the pump in the garage. Our family's absolutely loved having this mat around. Our kids do gymnastics on it, they do backflips on it. We use it as a slip and slide like I mentioned earlier. It's become a permanent fixture in the backyard. The friends come over and they know that the mat's out, we can go out and jump on it. It really acts as like a trampoline for our family. So one thing I like to do in these videos is address the issues that are brought up in low ratings, like 1 or 2 star ratings. So I took a look at the low ratings on this mat, and the 2 major things that came up are holes, mostly in the seams for the mats, and then the pump stops working after a couple of uses or even on the first use. I know that this is just my experience, but The pump has, look, as we've used this thing for 3 years, we've inflated and deflated it many, many times using the pump every single time. We've had no issues. It's been a great pump for us. And obviously, our mat is still in really great shape. There are no holes. It pumps up just fine. It holds air all through the season. Literally, we pump this thing up in the spring and then we deflate it in the fall, and it stays pumped up in our backyard. Every once in a while, we'll need to put some more air in it, and that's just the fluctuation in temperature. But ultimately, this thing has been a workhorse for us. So I can't speak to those 1-star ratings in particular, but otherwise, it's been a great, great purchase.